And I'm Hannah.
And welcome to the first episode of Sometime This Week, brought to you by UOW journalism students.
We've got a lot of exciting things planned for you guys today. But first, let's hear from Patrick for this week's news.
Over to you, Pat.
Thanks. Here's this week's stories. A UOW student has been charged after he was found with 3D printed guns. Charlie Miotti, a first-year engineering student, has been granted conditional bail after allegedly being in the possession of 3D printed guns. Mr. Miotti was ordered to continue living on campus, but must not access 3D printers in case he prints a getaway car. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has announced Australia will recognise the State of Palestine at a meeting of the UN General Assembly in September. It follows the recent similar declarations by Canada, the UK and France. The decision comes amid growing condemnation of Israel's planned military takeover in Gaza. The Reserve Bank of Australia cut rates by 25 basis points, leaving the rate at 3.6%. The cut comes as relief after the July decision to put the rates on hold. The new rate will save $89 on monthly repayments for mortgages of $600,000. After 3 rate cuts in 2025, the same mortgage holders will have saved $272 per month. Cafe owners rejoice as customers may finally be able to afford avocado on toast. The University of Wollongong will lead research into hydrogen pipeline safety after receiving a $650,000 grant from the New South Wales Government. The grant will allow research over 2 years to find the leading causes of pipeline failures and develop assessment and design tools to address them. A report by the Department of Climate Change released in July expects the global hydrogen market to reach $1.4 trillion in 2050, so UOW may be able to pay their staff by then. Kiama voters will head to the polls in September as a by-election has been announced after the former MP, Gareth Ward, was convicted and jailed. Ward was elected whilst under investigation for sexual assault, so Kiama voters will presumably favour a leader of similar upstanding character. And now for weather. We're looking at a gloomy couple of days, with the sun expected to come back out for over the weekend. I'm Patrick Breen. This has been your Sometime This Week news update. Back to you, Clem and Hannah.
I think he snuck a couple jokes in there.
Yeah, thanks, Pat. Next up, we have Nangi coming in to present her 3-minute thesis and teach us something new about her research.
Over to you, Nangi.
This summer, someone you love will reach for sunscreen to stay safe. But what if that protection is hiding a dangerous truth? Yes, you heard that right. Some sunscreens can turn into silent beasts. They attack your cells, damage your DNA, and speed up skin aging. Skin cancer is one of the most common cancers worldwide, taking nearly 60,000 lives every year. Here in Australia, the skin cancer capital, 2 in 3 people will be diagnosed by the age of 70. This could be you or someone you love. To fight this, sunscreens use titanium dioxide nanoparticles. Think of an ice cube versus crushed ice. The crushed ice melts faster because more surface is exposed. Nanoparticles are like that, tiny but mighty at absorbing harmful UV. But here's the problem. When exposed to sunlight, they can trigger dangerous chemical reactions that can unleash reactive oxygen species, ROS. These are like invisible chemical spikes piercing through your cells, damaging your DNA, and turning our protectors into silent beasts. To stop this, manufacturers coat the nanoparticles completely. But that produces thick and chalky creams that leaves us looking ghostly. It's not Halloween. This is where my research comes in. Instead of locking up the whole beast, I target its weak points, the hot spots where harmful reactions begin. In the lab, I mix titanium dioxide with a sprinkle of lanthanum and cerium. With just the right temperature and pH, they self-assemble into quantum dots, even smaller particles that can act like smart armor, shielding us from harm. And here's the breakthrough. The UV tests show while traditional coatings suppress the harmful reactions by only about 60%, my method suppressed it by over 95%. The result? A new generation of sunscreens. transparent, and far safer, preventing thousands of skin cancer cases starting now. I didn't just tame the beast, I turned it into our most trusted ally. Because we all deserve to be safe under the sun while still looking hot and sexy.
Okay, great. Come and join us for a chat.
Welcome to Sometime This Week, Nangi. Thank you so much for coming in for your 3-minute thesis.
Thank you so much.
That was a really incredible presentation. And I feel like I don't really know much about this topic, but the way you explained it made so much sense to me.
Thank you.
And I want to be safe, hot and sexy. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty, so do we want to start off and you just tell us a little bit about yourself, what you studied in your undergrad, where you're from, just a little bit of information?
So I'm originally from Sri Lanka, and my name is really long. It's Bulat Sinhalage Nuangi Pramudita Kure. So that's 4 parts. I did my undergrads in Sri Lanka, majoring in physics, and after graduation I came to Australia in 2019 to do my master's, and in my master's I studied sunscreens and their behavior in real conditions, because Australia experiences extreme UV conditions. And in my master's I found out that not a lot of sunscreens that are available commercially are performing really well. So that led me to dive deeper into understanding more about the UV filters that I used, which has led me towards my PhD.
Amazing. Could you tell us a bit about the competition you're undergoing with the 3-minute thesis?
So 3-minute thesis competition is for PhD students, and you kind of have to concise all your PhD work or part of it to 3 minutes and make it understandable for a lay audience. And it's really, really hard. So I think it's not compulsory for us to do, but I'm a person who really loves a challenge, and I thought, yeah, well, I should do it. And I found it really challenging at first, but as I came across the faculty heats and through the final, I found it really inspiring to do it, but also very satisfying.
Wow.
There's so much information to condense into 3 minutes. Can you tell us how many times you practiced that little
Oh my God.
speech?
I'm not sure even. At first I thought it's like once per day would be enough. I guess that's how I did until faculty heats. But then both me and my friend participated in the faculty heats, and then when I got through to the final, she was like, no, 1 time is not enough, you have to do 5 times a day. And she was pushing me to do it in front of her at least 5 times a day, which paid off, I guess.
It definitely did.
You walk around practicing by yourself, speaking to yourself. Yeah.
So what was your inspiration for this thesis? What do you feel passionate about it?
Yeah, I think when I was doing my undergrads, I was more into optics, especially after watching Harry Potter, The Invisible Cloak. I wanted to manipulate light and nanoparticles to make something like that. But when I came to Australia, somehow I fell into sunscreens, and I'm just going forward with it. But I find it very interesting now, and especially because, as I said, lots of sunscreens don't really meet the standard. I mean, not the standard per se, but the conditions that are required for Australia. Because Australians have, we call skin types, there are several skin types, and Australians have skin types 1 and 2, which are really pale and white and susceptible to tanning and damage from UV. And then Australia has the highest UV conditions in the world, which is not a good combination. So Australia really needs a better standard of evaluation of sunscreen, and also better UV filters.
Yeah, I didn't know that Australia was number 1. That's not good. I mean, I knew we were bad, but that's, gosh. You mentioned nanoparticles, and to work with particles that are so small, like you said, was at the crushed ice. What kind of equipment do you have to use to examine those?
So when it's in lots of nanoparticles together, you can actually see it. It's not transparent as in when it's agglomerated into bigger size, right? But if I want to actually see one particle, which I do with transmission electron microscopy, so we use, instead of like cameras that we normally use visible light, transmission electron microscopy use electrons to target towards the nanoparticles, which interact with the particles in different ways. I'm not going to go into all the detail, but that helps me look at them and identify their surface, if I can modify the surface in the way I want. And then there are other tests that I do with UV light, which helps me understand if I had modified it the way I wanted.
Crazy. So impressive.
Very impressive. What are you hoping to achieve by putting your thesis out there in the competition? What's your target audience here?
Well, first, when I wanted to do 3MT, it was to challenge myself. And I have said this before in different things, I guess. But when I first came to Australia, during my master's as an international student, I was so timid and I had no confidence, I think. Maybe some, but not really. I didn't feel confident at all. And after my master's, I thought, well, I was not like that back in Sri Lanka, so I wanted to go back to that person who I was before. And I really wanted to challenge myself with different things. That's how I came to 3MT also. And me going to this 3MT first was for me to develop my communication skills so that I can actually tell people what I'm doing, because my parents don't understand anything. So for me to tell them in a way that they could understand it, I think that's the purpose of 3MT. So you can explain your thesis in a way that any person can relate to it. And I think my area of research is like important for everybody, but not many people have the idea that they should pay attention to it. That's the main goal for me with 3MT, but also I think 3MT is a great platform to let other industries and stakeholders know what you're doing and maybe attract some funding, hopefully.
Yeah, it definitely does make your research way more accessible.
Yeah.
But,
I was going to ask, obviously Australia's UV rates are so high, like you were saying, but I also think that the tanning culture in Australia is quite intense, and I know that like for younger generations especially, there seems to be a bit of a trend with sunburns and everyone just wants to have a tan line. Do you have any thoughts on...
Of course.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on like maybe what we can be doing like with your initiative, I guess, and like where these trends might be coming from as well?
Yeah, I think it's mainly to do with TikTok. Like social media is so bad for misinformation. And I have seen a lot of TikToks and Instagram videos, people claiming that they can make very good sunscreens at home, which is clearly not good. Like it cannot work for sure. You haven't tested it. So how do you know it works? And a lot of people are claiming like organic sunscreens is better, like something made with plants. That's not how it works. It's not good just because it's made of like lemon. It's not like that. And another thing is like people, I don't know, I have very dark skin, so I don't know the need to get tanned. I can't understand that. But I think there's two different things here. From the beauty perspective, I guess people wanting to look in a way, and also wanting to go with a trend. Those two things together is making their perspective different towards what is healthy. So in that regard, I think 3MT making accessible, like research accessible to everyone is really important. And I think there's a gap between actual research findings and it reaching the public. And to bridge that gap, competitions like 3MT helps, but also there should be initiatives to make it more publicly accessible. Not just with government organizations, because not many people really listen to news. But like, use social media for that. Inform people with, maybe use celebrities, I don't know. Something like that. There should be some initiative to break that trend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. Is there anything else you'd like to add about your research or anything that you feel we've missed?
I'm not sure. Not really about my thesis, I guess, but partly about my thesis, I think, because in the 3MT, I only talked about the material side of it, but I'm also trying to develop testing standards that are suitable for Australia. In my master's, I utilized UV index as a tool to assess the performance of sunscreens. That's how I found out a lot of sunscreens don't really meet the standard. So I want to develop that method further so that Australia can use that to determine the sunscreen's quality for Australian standard. Because if a sunscreen is suitable for Australia, it's going to be suitable for anywhere in the world. Because Australia has the worst conditions thinking about the skin type and also UV exposure.
What are your recommendations for people keeping safe when sunscreens don't meet that level of standard?
I don't get the question.
Like, how do you think we can be sun safe when sunscreens aren't adequately protecting us?
It's not really a matter of whether sunscreens aren't adequately protecting you. It's mainly to do with application. Because from literature, we found that not a lot of people actually use the recommended dose, which is quite high, actually. So the testing standard uses 2 milligrams per square centimeter. And if you use that, especially with sunscreens that contains inorganic UV filters like titania, that's going to appear white. Nobody really wants to look ghostly, as I mentioned. So people actually use way less than that. From literature, we found it's about 0.5 to 1 milligram, which is like less than half. And that's why the sunscreen that is marketed as SPF 50 is not going to be as effective because you are using less. But that's the thing, like, you can't tell people to use more because it's not going to cosmetically appeal to them. So it's more of a matter, like, test the sunscreens at the scale where people are actually using. That is where I'm trying to do with my method. But I think the main thing people can do is, it's not just sunscreen you can use. There are 5 things you can use: shade, hats, sunglasses, clothing, and then last line is the sunscreen. So be sun safe, be smart about it.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. We've
Thank you so
enjoyed
much
chatting
for
to
having
you.
me.
Have you heard about the no hat, no play, no fun today in Australian schools?
Oh, yeah.
When you're a kid, they say no hat, no play, no fun today.
Yeah.
I feel like as adults we need that.
No, we had a blue log at our school where they like painted like a log blue, and if you didn't have a hat, you had to sit
on the log.
log for the entire playground time. Yeah,
We
it was
had
in the
a
shade as
section
well,
as
so it was like
well.
covered.
Extreme kind
Yeah, it was very extreme.
And now joining us is local artist Chelsea, who is here to give us a live debut of her new music.
Hey, my name's Chelsea Dagger. I'm a UOW student and I've just released a song called Talk About It, which is on Spotify, all other streaming services. And I'm here to play it live for you today with my bandmate Tristan. Hope you enjoy. Where have you been before you busted up?
Chelsea, for keeping our playlists fresh with local music.
We've just had word from our reporter who's down at the UOW Market Alley. Jack, what's happening down there?
Thanks, Clem and Hannah. We're here at Market Alley. We have markets on every second Wednesdays at UOW here. This T-shirt wasn't planned, but we're here talking with Tom from
TP Surf.
Thank you. When was TP Surf started and where'd you start?
I started the brand back in 2016 when I was in year 11 at high school. I always just wanted to get another platform to put my art and design on, and shirts and clothes were an accessible and easy way to do it. And selling shirts at school out of an Audi shopping bag, and that was 9 years ago, and we've just been going ever since then.
Yeah. Doing well. I'm a customer, so that's my review. What does Market Day do for you, and how does it help your work, your business?
Market Alley, up at the uni, is real cool because it's all young people that are interested in music, surfing, art, design, all the stuff that the brands build on. So it's just another area for us to expand and show our product off to people, and a lot of like-minded people that come through and they like what they see, which is cool. So just reaching another area of customers, really.
Yeah. Going off that, do you reckon it helps in more of a community aspect just for you to reach out and actually see these people, either from try and work through the world of online business and actually get to meet people and explain and sell your products in person?
Yeah, it's much easier to talk to people in person about the story or the history or what a particular design is about. I think people are pretty bored of online shopping, and you get the wrong size and all that stuff if you order through an online store. People get to actually come through, touch and feel and see things, which is it's cool, it's unique. There's a lot of shops shutting down now. It's just too expensive to run, but doing a market, you get to see same people every week. They bring friends back, and then just spreads from there.
Nice. When did you start doing Market Alley, and how was it? What are the steps of going through with that process?
I started coming this year, a couple months ago. I had some friends that do this market already, and they had the contacts for me, so I just hit them up and said how do I go through, and they gave me some phone numbers and emails and just sent off all the info I needed. And the crew here's real easy, real cool to talk to, and they make your life real easy coming in. It's really well set out, and you can come in, set up real easy, and just hang out for the day. It's mad.
Nice. Do you have any interesting stories of people you've met?
I tend to get a lot of my friends from back home. My brother's friends come through who I've known since I was babies. So I don't know, I see them a lot, which is kind of cool, and it's weird seeing that they're this old now to be at uni. But I don't know, most times pretty chill here. Nothing too weird happens here. I think that's a bit of stereotype Wollongong's got, but it's pretty easy going through here. So I don't know, it's pretty mellow.
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
So who does the designs for TP? Is it yourself?
Yeah, since I started the brand, I've done all the graphic design and artworks, and for the last 4 years I was working for a company where I was doing the printing through them. As of this year, I'm doing the printing all myself in my studio back in Shoalhaven Heads. So through the week, just coming up with new ideas and do a test print, take it to the market, see how people like it, and then just keep going from there. That's the weeks. Design and print shirts, go to the markets. Yeah.
Nice. All right, well, back to the studio. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jack. Next, we'll hear from Ashley on the pop-up, who's putting our students to the test on their pop culture knowledge this week.
Let's see who knows their stuff.
Hey, we're down at the library for this week's pop-up. We're going to see what the students of UOW know about what's been going on in pop culture. So, which major artist has been speculated to be teasing their new album? Is it A, Ariana Grande, B, Benson Boone, C, Taylor Swift, or D, Chapel Roan?
Chapel Roan. Is it Ariana Grande?
Ariana Grande?
Sure. I'm going to go with Benson Boone.
Okay. It's actually Taylor Swift. Yes, it's just happening. It's happening at the moment. New era might be coming. What artist has been announced to perform at the 2025 AFL Grand Final? Was it A, Katy Perry, B, Snoop Dogg, C, Kendrick Lamar, or D, Paul Kelly?
Oh, I'm going to go with Paul Kelly for sure.
Paul Kelly?
Yeah.
Final answer?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Kate. It's actually Snoop Dogg. What humanitarian commitment did Albert announce recently? Was it A, retaliation tariffs, B, recognition of a Palestinian state, C, deployment of peacekeepers to Switzerland, or D, increasing refugee intake?
I think he joined the UN in recognizing a Palestinian state.
That is correct. Congratulations. I'm gonna go B. The recognition of Palestinian state? Correct. One question right. Which actress has recently received public praise from Donald Trump? Was it A, Meryl Streep, B, Lindsay Lohan, C, Cynthia Erivo, or D, Sydney Sweeney?
D.
Sydney Sweeney.
Oh, it was Sydney Sweeney.
That is correct.
Sydney Sweeney.
Correct. What sport held their national final in Wollongong over the weekend? Was it A, basketball, B, darts, C, golf, or D?
Or lawn bowl? Is it golf?
It's actually darts. So random.
Thanks, Ash.
I am surprised by how little everyone knew about pop culture this week.
Some definite improvements needed in their pop culture
But
education.
that's all right. They've got next week anyway. Although I do think Taylor Swift is no longer a speculation album. I think it has been confirmed, The Life of a Showgirl.
Yes, it will come out in October, so very exciting things to look forward to there.
Super exciting. I do think that's everything we have for today's episode.
Yeah, we've chatted to some amazing people, seen some amazing things. Thanks for coming on the journey with us.
This has been Sometime This Week. We'll see you next week.